You can't start lead generation without systems and processes. And then make sure that we have our expectations very clear. We're going to win because we have our processes, and then our expectations are here, and then we can all go together. Thank you. Guys, come on up. Where's Lauren? Oh, there she is. Well, I was thinking about what we're going to talk about when we come up here. So we all sat down in the green room, and we all decided that we're just going to save everyone's time, and I'm just going to do this really quickly. You guys ready? I'm just going to. AI. You guys want to just go now?
Oh, yeah.
Should we go? Done.
Yeah, yeah.
No, Travis. Travis was laughing earlier because he's like, well, I guess I don't have a job anymore, you know?
Been in ISA forever now.
Yeah.
Yes, replaced by a bot.
So, anyways, I want to give you guys an opportunity to introduce yourselves. Maybe 3 top lead sources that you guys use, and then where you're from and where you work. So, Lauren.
My name is Lauren Bowen. I am the COO over at Robert Slack. So I've been in the industry for about 10 years now. I am a licensed broker in 9 different states. Lead sources, I feel like that one's a touchy subject, and I might play Switzerland. What are my 3 favorite may touch on the lines, or what are the 3 best? They're all very different in different ways. Yes. So my 3 favorite, I think I might avoid that. We have 17 at this time, so I like them all in different ways for different reasons. Like, what's the best ROI? What's the highest conversion? What's the fastest from contract to close? So I don't know if I have 3 favorite at this time.
Okay, I respect that answer. We'll get into it a little bit more later. I have what's really funny is every single person, by the way, that was like, when I took this panel, they all told me, oh my gosh, Lauren's amazing, you're gonna love her, she's so freaking smart. So,
well,
and we just met, so I'm really excited to pick your brain.
Thank you.
So, Preston Guyton, I'm from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I have Palms Realty in Myrtle Beach. We opened September of 2021. I've been in business for about 20 years. Palms, we have 110 agents now. We'll do about $300 million this year in business. And I have Cheplack Digital. I'm partners with John Cheplack in, so we manage pay-per-click AdWords campaigns for companies across the country. We have about 35 teams and companies. Over the last 12 months, we generated about 156,000 leads for teams. So
you said how many? 100 what?
156,000.
Okay, I just want to make sure we got those numbers right.
Yeah, and I'm partners with John, Sunit, and Nick McLean in Reside platform, which we launched about 3 months ago. And for me, it's organic or pay-per-click.
Cool.
Yeah.
Awesome. Travis.
Travis Halverson. I'm also from Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. Preston's actually my landlord, so it's pretty interesting.
He lives above me.
Yeah, I do live above him. So I've been in ISA for 6 years. I'm with Keller Williams Livian, been doing it for a long time. I just also coach for Cheplack Digital, and helped create a company called Canary Conversion. It's Livian's lead proprietary follow-up system that we've built inside of Follow Boss. So help generating thousands of leads for Keller Williams agents.
Love it. Last but not least, I'll tell you that.
Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Jeffery McGonigle with Power Real Estate Group.
Okay, a little louder.
One person.
How much did you pay them?
That was all Jose.
How much did you pay them?
Got a good squad out here right now. But I've been in real estate 5 years, originally from Orlando, Florida. Me and my fiance 5 years ago packed up the Honda, drove, and ironically, humanized Chris Jonas is here. He was the first person to ever hire me, and then we kind of stuck into Power Real Estate Group 2.5 years ago, done about 1,300 transactions, about 150 agents, and we all love what we do.
How many ISAs?
ISAs? About 20 ISAs, and then we have probably another 30 VAs that work behind and support every member, from the front desk all the way to the TCs. Everyone has an assistant that's helping them. That's why a bunch of them are here right now. So,
I'm curious, are your ISAs all U.S. based, or are they?
No, they're all in the Philippines.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
I like that.
We love you too!
How much you pay that guy, dude?
I don't even know who that is, but
Lauren, we were talking, and you said 17 lead
Correct.
sources?
Yes.
And up from how many from before? You said in the last year or so, you've scaled that pretty quickly?
We have. So 2 years ago, we had one lead source, and we identified pretty quickly that we had all of our eggs in one basket. It was still a very great lead source of ours, but last year, we went up to 3 lead sources. Right now, we have 17.
Okay, and how do you, because first of all, we're the most sold industry in the world, right? Every 5 seconds we get another call from somebody that says we have another lead source that's gonna give us the golden ticket to making millions of dollars. How do you decide which lead sources you guys are gonna use as a company and which ones you're gonna skip on?
Oh, trust me, we've fallen into some of those traps that haven't worked out very well.
Yeah.
But we have beta tested enough of them at this point to see which ones have the promise and which ones have the integrations that we can use. So Follow Up Boss has been great with that because some of them don't always integrate into your CRM, which is a big flip for us because we span the entire state of Florida. We're in Colorado and Georgia, so we need to have broker oversight. Without broker oversight, we don't know if it's our lead or their lead.
Yeah.
So we usually try 1 or 2 lead sources per market as we get ready to launch them. We train everybody. You heard our CEO mention yesterday, we have to understand the DNA of the lead. We make sure we can get that training and that information down to the agents. So we have our processes in place now pretty well. Our team has worked incredibly hard at making sure that we can follow our SOP for each and every lead source to make sure that they're successful.
So walk me through that decision making. Like, let's say I'm a new team lead and I have XYZ amount, finite amount to spend on lead generation, right? Like, how am I gonna choose whether I'm gonna go with this company or that company? Is one of those tickers like, oh, does it integrate with FUB? And then like, what do you look at to decide that?
It's a great question. One of the things that we do look at, does it integrate with FUB? So that is probably our first question. And if you're a newer agent or a smaller team and you have a limited spend on what you can spend going forward on leads, maybe even look at referral-based lead sources. So we pay an astronomical amount. I don't know if I'm proud of that or not in leads. I haven't decided yet. But we pay an astronomical amount in leads. But we have started diversifying to go in referral-based lead sources so we don't pay until we close. But we also have to make sure that we're doing the partner justice and converting those leads to their expectations and more often than not exceeding them. So if you're a smaller team, don't always feel like cost per lead is the way to go. There are plenty of referral-based lead sources out there that you can pivot to.
So maybe look at a referral-based lead source, build up revenue, and then be able to invest into maybe something that you do, right? Is pay-per-click.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So then talk to me about the pay-per-click. Like, what does that look like? You know, what's the spend? What's the average cost per lead?
Mm-hmm. So really, I tell people, like a lot of the times, you know, when I'm talking to people about taking over and managing that for them, because we build it out in their account, their AdWords account, you know, the first thing they need to do is figure out the systems and the processes, because if they don't have conversion figured out, they don't have a system and a process, they can't sign up for the referral companies because they're not going to close anything, right? So they need to make sure they have those things in place, because like we're not going to just take over and run a team's ad and 3 months from then they say the leads suck because they don't have a process and a system. So really, before you even if you're a smaller team and you're looking at leads, make sure you have that system set up first before you
what
go
is
into
that system?
Well, just like, you know, for us, we use ponds a lot. Like ponds, you know, going in and building out, like I'd spend 20 minutes actually going over what the system looks like. But, you know, there's a lot of people in here that could help with that. But make sure you have that set up before you start generating a ton of leads, because if you don't have your conversion set up, you're going to have a lead problem, right? So you want to, or you're going to have a conversion problem. So you know, that's something before you dig into pay-per-click or even a referral source, just make sure you have those systems in place. And when you're growing, when you're growing a company, it causes complexity. So you need systems that are simple. Yeah. And really focus on simple systems that you could go over with your agents and train them, because you don't need a complex system because it won't work. You know, so for us, our average cost per lead across the country is about $10.56 is roughly what it is over the last 12 months. But that doesn't matter though. If you don't have the systems and processes in place, you don't need to sign up for leads.
Yeah, because you're just going to be spending money for no reason, throwing out the money, and that's it.
But when you're thinking about the systems and processes, build something simple that's repeatable, that you could easily train people on, And the more complex it is, the harder it is going to get agents to actually do it.
Yeah. So someone told me one time, and I always talk about this, but it's a system is, there's a system to solve anything that you have to do more than once, right? So, and the best way to create a SOP or a system is write down step by step what you're doing in your process. So before you take a client on to run their ads or anything like that, because you manage how many accounts you were telling me?
Yeah, about 35 teams.
Yeah, so you
not a massive amount because we don't, we run them ourselves, so it's me and one other person. It's just pay-per-click is a hard thing to hire for.
Yeah.
It's not something, and really like the people that are really good at pay-per-click aren't in the real estate space. Because you can make, I could make a lot more money if I was focused on e-commerce, but I'm in real estate, so I'm going to generate leads for myself and other companies. But for me, we look in and make sure that they have the systems and processes set up where when we start delivering leads, they're not wasting them. So one of our top teams has one ISA, and he's in Florida, and he's closed 70 of the pay-per-click leads we've sent him this year. And he does it
7-0?
7-0, yeah. And he spends about $5,000 a month on leads, but it could work. You could run a system that's successful without an ISA, because if you're a smaller team, you probably don't have the capability to hire an ISA. But there's ways to set it up to where you can have success with pay-per-click. It's just you just got to follow the system and make sure everybody's following the system.
Yeah, and so you're building out the system, you're building out SOPs, leads coming in, and then as you're growing, you're hiring an ISA that's going to go close those appointments. And Travis, our ISA expert over here, right? What is it, the lead comes in, you guys have generated these leads, now what's the ISA doing?
So, as he was saying about your SOP, it depends on what you have in place. We find a lot of success with obviously calling within the first 5 minutes, automated text, automated email, things like that, and making sure that the leads are being placed together. So, and realistically, it was funny when I saw the topics that we were talking about was the lead source. I've never really cared about where the source came from in the lead. I always just look at it as no matter when I get the lead, their end game is always going to be buy, sell, or invest in real estate or do something in real estate. So I'm just going to treat them the exact same. I'm going to follow up with it the exact same. The cadence really never changes. The messaging barely changes. I'm just doing what I need to do to convert that lead, find their motivation, see what I can do to make sure that they're winning, make sure that they're being taken care for. And as we were saying, you spend $10.56 on a lead. There's no such thing as a bad lead. It's just bad follow-up is really what it comes down to. So just
What's really interesting is backstage, I was talking to Travis, and he's telling me how much he loves being an ISA, and he's like, I don't know if I'm going to have a job after Howard, went up on stage. And he goes, but I do set about, 15 appointments a day that you're setting.
Yep.
And I think it's very important that we just didn't skip over something that you just said. You said you don't change your cadence, and you don't change your language. It's the same thing over and over again.
Yeah, I always joke because everybody always tells me that I mastered boredom. I just sit in my office 8 hours a day, do the same text, same email, same phone calls, same thing over and over and over again. But the thing is with the amount of appointments that I'm setting, I'm close to 80 closed year to date. So it's just pretty simple and easy when I'm just doing the same repetitive action over and over. You're going to get the same outcome. You're doing the same follow-up. You're just trying to provide value. I've mastered value, ask. 2 forms of value, ask for something back. If you do that, you're going to win no matter what.
Okay, and what is that cadence? So lead comes in, what are you doing? Are you calling right away? Are you texting right away? What are you doing?
So lead comes in with the automations that we have. Well, now with the new automations, we're going to be able to do a lot more stuff. But second lead comes in, automated email goes out, asks permission or how they prefer to be contacted. I always want to ask. I always want to ask them how they prefer to be contacted. With the generational gap and stuff where we're going, I always talk about it all the time. It's our answer rate from phone calls is down by 26% over the last 6 months on new leads that are being generated, but our answer rate over text messages is actually up 39% over the last 6 months on all leads being generated. These are online leads, but these are also open house leads and things that are just coming into our database.
Yeah.
And I start to realize that more and more that's happening. Email goes out if they don't respond within the first 5 minutes. A text message goes out within 1 minute right after, and then I'm calling within the first 5 minutes no matter what. But if I talk to them if I get them to respond via email, I'm taking that to the bank via email. If I talk to them via text, I'm taking that to the bank via text. If they don't respond to my text or my email, I'm calling them. If I get them on the phone, I'm talking to them on the phone and setting an appointment that way.
So it's really interesting. So, the book 5 Love Languages. It's like, acts of service. I think we have the same thing in like lead generation and lead source. Like, what do they like? How do they like to be contacted, right?
Yep.
Do they like to be contacted via text, email, carrier pigeon, yada, yada, yada. And so that is really powerful what you're doing. You're sending a text and you're figuring out what their love language in communication is, right?
Yeah, you really just want to understand because, I say it all the time. Nobody woke up this morning looking forward to a phone call from Travis Halverson. Nobody's ever said that. So, Lee has. Lee's looking forward. But, what it comes down to is if someone was to send me a text message right now and just say, hey, Travis, how's it going? I'm obligated to respond because I'm going to say, who is this? How'd you get my number? Anything. Yeah. And I can take it from that way. But if I see unknown number calling, I'm not going to pick up the phone. Even if I know who it is at the time, I'm going to ignore it. But if I just have a random number pop up on my phone, I'm going to reply in a text. And the thing is, you can do so much with that. Gabe said it great yesterday. Is like this type of stuff. You get these people that say things to you. You have such good information, right? Like you can run with it from there all you want.
Yeah. And then we were talking about, you setting all these appointments, and it also does depend on, once you set the appointment, how they're following up with that, right? The agent that goes. So what was the example
You're going to
you
make
me?
me.
Please
No,
tell
I'm
me.
not going to say. No, I used to say, this isn't anything against agents. I know I'm the minority here as an ISA, but
Coming for you.
no, it's just I had to get so good at what I did as an ISA because I didn't get paid. I didn't get paid unless the agent closed it. I had to be so much better at my job than my agent was at my job because I'm setting appointments for agents that are brand new to the business. Nobody came into the business and was like, I want to be an ISA, just got my license, just got everything, I'm going to be an ISA. Nobody's done that, I don't think. So,
except for you.
Yeah, except for me. But the thing is, though, is the more I see it, I was like, all right, well, if I can give my agent so much material on what they need to do, what's the next step? Like, hey, I know I'm going to give you this lead. I know you're not going to text it because you just want to default the call. So I'm going to give you this lead, and I want you to send this text template because I know what kind of results you'll get. Baby tested a lot of text messages and emails, and the thing is I'm like, this is going to get the highest results. Send this text message. It's going to introduce yourself. They're going to either like it, they'll do something with it, but just trust me that you can do it. I had to give them everything to the point where all they had to do was go unlock a door.
Yeah.
That's how I was getting paid.
And I love that. And by the way, we did not set up how we're going to talk, but it just happens to go to Jeffrey now. So
I'm like, wait.
Oh yeah,
that's pretty good, right?
We had so many questions.
So no, but we're talking about agent accountability.
Yeah.
Right. And the conversation you and I had last night, right, was about this. How are we going to keep these agents accountable? So we chose these lead sources, then we generate these leads, then the ISA sets the appointment. Like, how do we make sure the agent doesn't say, oh shoot, sorry, I slept in?
That's not really an option. So
I've had that before.
Yeah. But it happens.
It does happen.
I run a very successful team. I have agents that do that, right? Like, and that's the reality. So how do we make sure that we keep them accountable?
I think it starts with the culture, right? I think it's super, super important to envision a world where an agent comes into an office. So the whole flow. Like, an agent comes in, we have human eyes, and we have role play. That's the main place where we get our Instagram. They'll come in. They get hired at 10 a.m. because 9:30, they're in the middle of role play. They see what it's like. Then I go over expectations. Then we go like step by step. For a month, we took our head TC, Ruben, and Ruben now goes through the onboarding. Before they ever get a lead, they have to make 1,000 calls. They have to sit down with the ISA so they can help them with their cadence and their flows and what they're going to be saying. So they get into a habit of it. And then we create an environment of scarcity. Grow responsibly. We don't want more leads than we're able to handle, right? And we, just like you guys with the referral, we went to a referral portion years ago. I read a book, and in that book, Lazy CEO, they describe the velocity of cash flow, right? So to be able to look at ourselves as Walmart and the leads as Procter & Gamble on our shelves, to be able to reinvest back in. So when it comes back in there, like I brought a little prop today, and in that prop, I say, I know why you're here, it's for the dollar. But on the other side of that is a penny, and on the inside of that is the seed of a sequoia tree, right? It starts by what you do here. You can grow yourself a very, very big money tree, but it's the little things. It takes 50 years for that tree to become the biggest tree in the world.
But the seed is this big.
seed is this big, but the seed needs more than just sitting taped to a piece of a dollar. It needs nutrients. It needs follow-up. We still need love to guide these people to that next step. And just like a tree, it's going to fall, and then another one's going to grow if you can nurture it afterwards.
So I love that, by the way. I'm putting that, I'm stealing that, and I'm going to use it. But I'll give you credit, I promise. My question is you had mentioned before they even get a lead, you're making your agents do how many calls? You said 1,000
They got to do
calls?
1,000 calls, and we go in, we pull the pipe, like the 50 who haven't been called, and we say, here, call these. And so 9 o'clock is role play. 10 o'clock, they're sitting down with Ruben, going over contracts, learning from a TC, who's teaching them real life. 11 o'clock, they're going over the calls that they made yesterday in a group setting. And we're only listening to the 2 to 3, first focusing on your intro and then focusing on what you're saying from there. And then we're taking it on to, here's your new batch, hit it again.
Okay, so you're reviewing your calls first all together, and then you're going into, hey, here's a new batch, and then you're doing that every day for
1 month.
1 month, for 30 days. That's powerful.
Yeah.
That's
And then they're walking right out because they've made these calls and they've gotten better and they've struggled together. They understand that it takes a little bit of time. They're able to open an escrow or two, month number 2.
So now, this is a curiosity question for me is those calls that they're making, those first, let's say, 1,000 calls in the 30 days, they get an appointment. How do you handle that?
On week.
Let's say week 1, for some reason, they're just amazing and they got an appointment. Are you guys, is that agent taking that appointment?
No, they're going on that with a team lead, and that team lead is so role play starts first day, then they go with team leads such as JoJo, Sylvia, Abe, and they interview which one they're going to go with, right? And that person takes them on and then rolls from there. So as soon as they book an appointment, they run over, they're like, Abe, what do I do? Abe's like, I got it. Come on, here's what we're going to do. We're going to pull these comps. We're going to do this. We're going to call the listing agent. We're going to get the home. We're going to get the agent pumped up before we even see the property. Then we're going to drive over there, the message that we send over. That way they can just roll.
I love that. That's
showing instead of telling.
That's an amazing system. Lauren, when you're reviewing all these lead sources, you're building out from here, again, brand new agent comes in. Brand new agent is just starting, they're sitting in the audience, and you have to rebuild everything that you have, or everything that you've built at Slack and everything. Where are you starting? Referral source leads, and then what?
No.
Okay,
Referral
yeah,
source
there
leads,
we go.
we actually have to convert on if we want to keep them as partners. So no, we actually utilize the ponds as well. So we usually send them what we call fishing. They have to be able to work the ponds and close 3 deals out of those. We hold our agents accountable by making sure that they do a correct number or a expected number of contacts, depending on the lead source, every 7, 10, 30 days. If they don't, the leads are pulled away from them and sent to our ponds. We have plenty of new agents that are fishing in those, so those are great opportunities for them. We did a statistic last year where we realized about 50% of our new leads close with the first agent, 50% close with the agent that pulled them out of the pond. So it's almost equal on how they are actually worked. But they have to close 3 leads out of our pond before we actually put them on live lead flow. Because if they can work, either it's a lower dollar, I hate saying older lead, if they a more mature lead, if they can close 3 of those, then that shows us that they're ready to go on live lead flow. Now, if it took them a year to close those 3, maybe not. Maybe they need to go up to 6 or so, but we do have expectations that they will be fishing in our pond for so long before they actually get live leads.
Okay, cool. And now, if they're not with your company, what's advice you would give someone to start generating leads?
To start generating leads. I mean, there's so many different ways out there. I mean, go with what your strength is. Some of y'all are absolutely fantastic at social media. I am not one of those. But if that's your strength, go for it. If you need something a little more fundamental and you don't know where to start, let's say you came from a new market, maybe buying Realtor.com is your best option. But I mean, go with what your strength is. I mean, find what's going to work best for you. Don't go with what everyone says, this is the best, this is the highest conversion. Really find the lead source that you feel like you can get the best out of. We have some very distinguished armed services that work with. They do great working with our relocation veterans and everything, so that works best for them. So don't I mean, there's lots of pressure in this industry. Don't feel like you have to conform to one lead source, what everyone else is going to. Really just work what you can work best.
I love that. Find your tribe and lean into that. I love that so much. What about you? Same question. Someone's starting, someone wants to get into generating leads or level up their lead generation. What are they doing?
Are they a brand new agent?
Brand new agent, yeah.
Okay. I mean, for us, we have we call it the Agent Excellence Program. We run that every quarter. Last one we had, it's 7 weeks. We had 17 agents go through it. And so it's 7 weeks of training, 3 days a week. By the time they were done, they made 18,600 phone calls. So that group of 17 did over that 6.5 weeks. But if you're a new agent, I mean, open houses, right? You got agents in your office do open houses for, door knock. You go to simple things, just learn those. Learn how to, because a lot of people struggle with getting in front of, if you go door knock, if you go do open houses and things like that, and then learn the sales, and you could get a ton of leads through open houses. I mean, just go, listings in your office, just go sit them on the weekend.
Yeah.
Things like that. But, I mean, if it's, also, when you're speaking to companies, I mean, see what the company's doing. Like, what are they doing for leads? Are they generating leads? Like, for us, we generate about 2,000 leads a month, and they come into a pond. So they're in an ISA pond for 14 days, and they go to a prospecting with leadership pond for another 14 days. And after that, they go to our general pond, and we have expectations of every agent that is on lead rotation has to get 8,000 points in follow-up boss, and we take away the appointment because appointment is 500 points, so it doesn't, 8,000 is easy. But make sure the agents understand the expectation as well, and stick to the expectation, because a lot of people have expectations, but they don't enforce them. So when you don't enforce them, they're like, oh, yeah, that's the expectation, but they're not going to do anything about it. So definitely, when you're setting that up, I mean, for a new agent, I mean, there's so many ways you don't have to go buy leads. I mean, start with a company that's generating leads and generating opportunities, or go door knock, go do open houses. I mean, those don't cost any money.
I love that. So you don't have the budget to go and buy leads, even you don't have the record to get a referral source and so on and so forth. Go generate the lead, go do open houses, go do door knock and so on and so forth, and then hand those off to a team member and keep growing your team that way.
Yeah, I mean, that's the easiest way and least expensive, because most listing agents will be happy if if they have a ton of listings or whatever, if you're sign up for an open house. I mean, and you could get a good open house, you could get probably 10 or 15 leads or more from that.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Travis, what if someone can't afford you?
Can't afford what?
An ISA.
Well, you get
right.
How much is Royal Life?
Right? So what do they do? Like how can someone build the processes that you've built? Like,
well, I always say it's pretty funny because whenever I talk to single agents, which I love talking to single agents because they're an ISA on their own. They have to generate their own business on their own. And it's always funny to me because whenever we talk about all these different lead sources, and it's amazing what you've done. You said you deal with lead sources all the time. But to me and Preston, I mean, there's really just online leads. So, I mean, there's 5 lead sources to me, which is like past clients, sphere of influence, cold calling, open houses, expired FSBOs, and did I say open houses? And online leads, basically.
Yeah.
So the 5 different versions of lead sources, I mean, you basically pick your best and you just turn that into your little niche thing. But I mean, you really just start out with your own basic SOP. I mean, when you build out your SOPs, I mean, you just say, okay, I get a lead. Okay, however you got that lead, it doesn't matter. Just you now have that lead. It's in your follow-up boss. It's in your system. What's the next step? You just keep building out the next steps until you've ran out of steps, because at the end of the day, you're going to come back to a full circle. I mean, as an agent, you're going to build that out. Goes from here to here to here to here. If they respond to this, you send this. If they don't answer that, you send this. If they do answer that, or they look at this, you send this. You know what I mean? I did that so many times over and over again, which is how I built Canary. It was just so easy to be done because it's only so many objections you're going to get, only so many different processes you can follow. But that's how we were able to build out that flow. You know what I mean? You can just take all the leads and run them through the same simple process over and over again.
And so I think the magic between every single person here and every team lead here is everybody's a little bit different, right?
Oh,
their language is different, their cadence is different, so on and so forth. There's structure that we can put in, but there's that feeling. So what you're saying is build an SOP with their personality.
Yeah, build an SOP with their personality. Because I mean, like I said, with however many leads, I mean, at 6 years as an ISA, of the 600 plus closings that I have as an ISA, you see the same like the same simple actions and stuff over and over. I mean, Justin built out that thing that you can integrate into your follow boss that tells you how many texts and emails have been sent, how many times they've looked at your website. You go look at the closings that you've gotten, you can really see a good number of those those triggers that you've seen, how many texts you've sent out, how many emails you've sent out, and you can start building out your SOPs on the ones that you've already succeeded with, and just take that at scale, which is those workflows that I was showing you that you can just scale out all the way. So.
Love that. Jeffrey, advice? Agent coming in. Actually, I'm going to change my question for you. Agents got a team. They're building their team. What's the first step you're going to help them to build their accountability for their agents?
For the agents on their team?
For the agents on their team. They have a team. Let's say they have a couple agents on their team, and they want to scale their team, but they need to get their agents to be more accountable. What's your advice?
Well, the truth is I tell them that our expectations are here. Take it here, right? Take it to that next level and make sure that you are out there with them. Make sure they're seeing it being done. Make sure that you're coming from a place of actual leadership, right? And so that's really where it comes in. The team leads are leading the role plays. Jose still, to this day, will walk out there on a call night and he will go 1 out of every 15, he's getting an appointment for.
Yeah.
And he's pumped up. Who wants it? Who wants it, right? So it's just really going in there and coaching your teams and giving them the guidance. Just like they said, hey, go do the open houses. We get a ton of listings, and those turn into open houses. Our listing agents, go get some more. New agents, let's go do this door knocking. Let's get these flyers out. Let's pump up. We're going to circle prospect. We're going to call every single one of the neighbors. We're going to do all of that, and then we're going to roll. So they're pumped up. Their energy's high. And guess what? Now we're double-ending it.
I love that. So what I heard here, for me, is you got to have the systems and processes in place. You can't start lead generation without systems and processes. Number one, right? And then make sure that we have our expectations very clear, right? If we build our expectations to be super clear with our team and our people, then we're going to win because we have our processes and then our expectations are here, and then we can all go together. Thank you guys so much for being here.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you
guys. Travis is going to share all of his systems and processes, his workflow. So if you go to FUBCON2023.com, you'll click that link and you'll download all of his workflow and everything that he did. So he might get fired for sharing it, but he's sharing it with you guys. So
Let's give these guys another round of applause.
Thank you.